Hello and welcome to this special episode of Marlborough Junior Reporters. Today, we will be interviewing Rachel Stone, Head of Teen Services at Marlborough Public Library. Hello, Rachel, and welcome to the show.
Hello, thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. Well, I have a couple questions for you. My first question for you is, so I attended the ramen bar, and I thought it was absolutely delicious, and it was a very good experience. What are some of the upcoming programs that the library has to offer for us?
We have a lot of great stuff on the books for February, pardon the pun, on the books. We have hopefully having a gaming program coming up with our beautiful gaming space, which I'll show you during the tour. We have a new book club starting up at the end of February as well. We have a bunch of art programs. We're going to be making soot sprites from Spirited Away.
Nice.
The little soot guys. We have a Suncatcher program coming up as well, and our D&D club will be meeting again in February, as will our board game club and anime club. That's a new one that just started up in January, and we'll be meeting again next month.
That is absolutely great how many programs you can just fit into one day or 1 week. That is so amazing, and I love the look of this library. It's giving good vibes. My next question for you is, why should teens use the library? What does the library have to offer?
So we have a ton of stuff to offer, aside from just programming and books, obviously. The library provides just a really great space for teens to come and hang out. We have computers that can be used. We have really comfortable chairs. People can come to study, come to hang. We have board games and video games and all sorts of other really great things. And we're hoping that teens will use the space as a place to come, to hang, to be with friends, and just to be part of the community.
That is literally, I can't even imagine how I would have said that. So you heard it first here, folks. My last question for you is, how did you become the head of teen services?
Great question. So I went to library school. You do have to get a master's to have a role quite like mine. You can work in a library without a master's, but I went and got my master's in library and information science at Simmons University in Boston. And I ended up in Marlborough because I really wanted to, specifically work with teens because it's the coolest population. And there was an opening here, and I wanted to be in Central Mass to be close to my friends and family.
I would want to be close to my friends and family too.
Would you guys like a tour?
Yes, please.
Come on down. We've entered right here into our main circulation area. We've got a welcome desk, public holds. So if you visit our website and place a hold online for a book, this is where you'd come pick it up. We've got our large print collection behind me, as well as our other language materials. Over here, we've got our community puzzle table, so we've always got a puzzle going, and our cafe, which has a vending machine. People can eat, sit, hang out. Unfortunately, we don't sell coffee there, but we do have that lovely vending machine. Follow me this way. So this is our media concourse. We've got all our DVDs, Blu-ray, and video games here. For video games, we currently have PS4, PS5, Switch, Xbox, and I think that's about it for now, but we're always expanding and getting more stuff. We've also recently added some board games to our collection, so those can be checked out as well. And through the media concourse, we have our gorgeous new children's room. All right, and welcome to the children's space. So we have a gorgeous collection here. Behind us, we have the nonfiction section, as well as our parenting books. We've got a whole setup of computers for kids to use and hang out on. Through those doors, we have our preschool room, so that's for some of the younger kids to hang, play with some toys. And over here is the lights, beautiful. We have our kids' fiction as well. In the preschool room is where all our picture books are. Let's head downstairs and see what else we've got.
What made you what made you want to do what you're doing?
That's a great question. So my first career right out of college was working in youth mental health research. And I wanted to do that because as I was growing up, I was seeing a lot of young people struggling with their mental health. And I really wanted to find ways through research, because I was kind of a data nerd, to help young people. And so I was doing a lot of behind the scenes computer data work and felt like I was missing a little bit of human interaction. So I started looking for another career that would kind of encompass both the data part. So we do a lot of data work with the books and figuring out our population and what to buy. But I was missing that piece of actually working with youth and young people and teens. So I pivoted a little bit and ended up going back to school and into a library, because I love books, I love reading, and I love people and teens in particular. So that's kind of how I ended up in that career path.
How long have you been working here for?
I started at the Marlborough Public Library in November of 2021, so about 2.5 years.
Thank you for talking with us, Rachel. We'll be asking her more questions after this break.
Hello, my name is Anna, and I'm reporting from the newly renovated library, which opened on October 2nd, 2023. It only took 2 years to construct this library renovation, which gave the space over 15,000 more square feet. The entire project cost $24 million. Come down to Marlborough Public Library to see the newly designed building for yourself.
All right, we're going to ride in our epic little elevator. All right. This is the top secret portion of the tour. See, we've got basement level here. Currently, it is ID accessible only. So you're going to scan that bad boy, and I will take you to the basement.
So in this elevator, there's insulated padding, which means we won't be freezing.
All right, welcome to our basement. So the main feature down here is our training room, which has been decked out with technology to hold hybrid programs, which is one of the features that we were really excited about when we were building this new space. All right, so this is our training room. We use it for arts programs, tech programs. People can have meetings down here and all sorts of fun stuff. We have a large screen where people can project projects, presentations, and it's also functioning with a camera, so you can do hybrid style presentations, which we know from the COVID era is extremely important to a lot of people in terms of accessibility. Head back upstairs and I'll show you the rest.
And we're back with the head of teen services at the Marlborough Public Library, Rachel Stone. Hi, Rachel. My first question for you is, what is your favorite community program that's offered here?
What a wonderful question. I love doing the art programs, so I run a twice a month crafternoon where I kind of just mess around with art materials, a bunch of different types of mediums. I'm not super crafty, but I like to create a space where people can kind of just play around with different arts and crafts style things, painting, ceramics, anything I can lay my hands on and find a cool craft for.
That sounds fun. My second question for you is, what is your favorite thing inside the library?
Great question as well. I think my favorite part about the library is that it just offers a space for people to be. It doesn't require that you spend any money, which most places out in the community require that if you're going to enter, that there's some expectation that you're going to pay for something, a coffee shop. You can use their Wi-Fi, but they kind of want you to also buy a coffee. But the library just is. It's just a space for anyone. We have resources and tools that people might not be able to access elsewhere. So I just like the physical being of it, and that it's a meeting space for people.
Thank you. And my last question is, why is the Marlborough Public Library better than the other surrounding communities?
So I wouldn't say we're necessarily better, but we have, the community's put a lot of love and money into our renovation, and I think that shows with our new space that we've really tried to encompass what everyone in the community is looking for. Having a dedicated teen space is really important, and not every library has the resources to have one. So I think that kind of sets us apart in other libraries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
While the library was being reconstructed, they had moved their entrance to Witherby Street, because of the way that they were going to redesign this library. Can you give us a little more intel on that?
I would love to. So when they did the construction project, they wanted to keep the original architecture of a portion of the Carnegie piece of the library. So that's this piece right behind us, and the portion even further back. But everything this way of it was redone. And unfortunately, they weren't able to renovate the Carnegie entrance to be accessible for people with disabilities. So they made the main entrance on Witherby Street instead.
That is really, really great that we have to, when you're building something, you really have to think of the community around you and how different people are going to get in. Because if someone is handicapped, you don't necessarily know how they're going to get upstairs if there's no like ramp or anything like that. So.
Yeah, accessibility was a big idea when they were creating this new idea for the space. In terms of a lot of aspects of the library, they really wanted to focus on accessibility. We have a lot of cool technology that will help people who need it. So our scanner can translate documents between languages, which is very cool, and that's not a piece of technology we had before. And in our conference spaces, we also have some audio technology to help people with who need it, I guess.
This library looks like so modernized. Like if I look around here and I think, wow, this is just really beautiful to look at. So are there going to be any further renovations to the library interior or outside?
Our hope is that this renovation will last us a long while. It was a big project, and like you mentioned, we had to move off-site while it was being done, and we're hoping it will keep us afloat for a while.
Hi, it's Gavin reporting from the Marlborough Public Library. Did you know that Marlborough's first library was opened in 1792 with 60 members paying a yearly membership fee? Later in 1903, construction began on the modern Marlborough Public Library, and that original building still stands today. Wow, 1903, that was before sliced bread.
Another question I have for you is, how did COVID impact the library?
That's a fantastic question. So I started working here in 2021, so it was a little bit after that kind of initial COVID influx. But to my knowledge, the library was shut down for a while, and they kind of pivoted to doing some curbside pickup for books and some virtual programming so that people could dial in from home. And while we were in the Walker building, which was our temporary location, they kind of kept some of those things up. And I think looking forward, we're hoping to increase and include and continue to have some of that additional accessibility of if people can't come into the library, let's continue doing some virtual programming and stuff like that.
This library with the entrance on Witherby Street is not just for books. They have computers, and they have study spaces, and they even have free Wi-Fi. So you can do your homework on a computer or on your phone or on your tablet, and you can just connect to the Wi-Fi. It is a place to have a good time, and this is a very safe space. Now, in case of emergency, what in terms of like if there was a fire or something, what would that look like in terms of exits or whatever?
From this location, we have a couple different emergency exits. We have a door straight back through, and you could exit to the West Main location. So that door is still an emergency exit, even though it's not an entrance to the building.
Okay.
So we're gonna go to the first floor. All right, welcome to our lower level or first floor. We've got the entirety of our adult collection down here, as well as the teen room, which I will take you to in a moment. So the adult collection encompasses fiction, nonfiction, graphic novels, pretty much anything you'd be looking for. It's here. We also have some of our study rooms and 2 meeting rooms on this level. But the highlight of the tour, in my opinion, is the teen room. So come on this way. All right, and here in the teen room, we have our graphic novels, an enormous manga collection that we're extremely proud of. We've got nonfiction, fiction, all sorts of great stuff. We have our own programming room where we can hold all those great programs that we've talked about, craft programs, tech programs, all sorts of awesome stuff. We also have our own set of computers for people to use to do homework, play games, really whatever they want can be done on those computers. And we have the best seating in the place over here, a bunch of tables where teens can sit, hang out, do homework. And my personal favorite are our egg chairs, which have a nice little 360 turn radius, and they're extremely comfortable. So that's the highlight for me of the entire space.
I have a question for you.
All right.
So when you were designing the teen room, what did you necessarily want for the teens?
That's a fantastic question. So I really wanted, comfortable seating, places that people would want to come sit, hang out, relax, read, do their homework. I wanted it to have a door so that it would be kind of separate from the adult space, so you wouldn't have to feel pressured to be 100% quiet like you might feel in other parts of the library.
That's a great view as well.
It is. We have, I think, the best view in the house. It gets really great sun during the day. And during the holiday season, it was really beautiful to look down Main Street and see all the lights.
Okay, so before we go wherever we go now, how long did it take you to, plan out and design this room? Like, did you get, ideas from other teenagers, adults, or young minds that, would help you create this nice, calm space? This is the calmest library I've ever been to.
It's a fantastic question. So the floor plans originated prior to me starting in this role. So my involvement kind of began with how to fill an existing space. So I focused a little bit on what kind of chairs would be fun. How can we make this feel like a nice place to come and hang? What were the other aspects of your question?
Did you get any?
Oh, outside feedback. So I met with a couple other teen librarians who had done renovations recently to figure out, what worked for them, how many computers should we have, what kinds of materials and things make a teen room fun to hang out in, which led to me getting some of the board games that we have over there, as well as coloring sheets and other kind of physical, tactile things that people can do while they're in the space. I also visited a couple other libraries to see what they were doing and went with, fun, light colors to kind of make the space feel a little more upbeat.
That's awesome. This is the best library I've ever been to. No offense to the other libraries out there.
I know how you said there's good lighting with these windows. Is there anything when they were designing it, or do these windows, are they, I don't know, special?
That's a fantastic question. So we wanted to make sure that that our books wouldn't get damaged from light. So having a lot of windows can sometimes cause damage to books. So they're protected with UV protection so that our materials and our collection doesn't get damaged from all the good natural light that we're getting.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Hello again, it's Anna. Before the modern library was completed in 1904, the library inside the City Hall, on Christmas night in 1902, the City Hall and the library burned in a fire. The entire building was destroyed. 2 months later, the library was already reopened in a temporary location with over 2,000 books on the shelves, and 400 of those books had been rescued from the fire.
Can we see all the aspects of, or maybe most aspects of the main library area over there?
Yeah, I will walk you through those areas. Come on down. So within our adult section, we have a reference desk, or our information desk, where people can go for questions about materials, programs, information that they're looking for. They're always here to help you. We also have 10 computers that are set aside specifically for adult use. Over here is where the actual physical collection starts. We have all our new materials kind of front and center, new fiction, new nonfiction, new graphic novels. And then we have biographies, and the rest of our slightly older materials are further back. So we have fiction, nonfiction, etc. Follow me this way. So we've got 2 meeting rooms here that people can book for programming or meetings or anywhere where they need a space or a conference room. They're all decked out with technology, kind of like downstairs in the training room, and people can book those online.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
So, when you book these meeting rooms, is this just for anyone to book if they need a space to hold a conference?
It's a great question. So we have a meeting room policy that kind of outlines a little bit more what we're looking for people who are booking meeting rooms. It's all online. There are some parameters, I don't know off the top of my head, that you have to meet to be able to use them. The primary goal is to use for library programming, and then if we have empty slots available, kind of tiers out to people in the community who are also looking for spaces to use. The easiest space to book if you just need a couple seats and some tech is a study room, which I can show you now. Do you think there are people in them? So we're not going to catch those folk, but yeah, so we have 3 study rooms down here and 2 more upstairs that are also bookable online in 2-hour slots that people can use to do whatever they want. You know, a lot of people come to study or to take a meeting if they work from home but need a quieter space. That's some of the primary uses for those, and they've been very popular. So this is our kind of quiet reading room, which is used as a quieter space, so there's an expectation that people aren't going to be taking calls or doing a lot of things. It's also where our magazines and newspapers are currently held. This is also the Carnegie portion of the building that we're standing in right now. So this is the original historic portion. So our last space is our local history room, which is not quite open or ready to be used, but stay tuned and hopefully it will be soon. Yeah, so it'll have some like ephemera and old books and stuff like that in there. And people can do research on local history and things like that. And people in town who may have, family history that they want to research, that would be a great place for them to get that information.
All right, thank you.
When people come to the library, what is one thing that you would want them to see?
Love that. I hope people see how much the staff care about the community and all the work that the town and everyone involved has put into creating just a beautiful new space for Marlborough.
Hello, it's Gavin again. Of course, the Marlborough Public Library doesn't just have books. You can also check out video games and movies with a library card. There's also live music concerts, Dungeons & Dragons game nights, live arts and crafts tutorials, and classes, all free for Marlborough residents. Hey, this is the movie section I was just talking about. Roderick Rules. Greatest movie of all time.
This is really great that we have this conversation going, because as we have this conversation, we are learning more and more about the library and how it was kind of made and what it's for and what it's about. Is there anything you guys would like to add on to this?
One more question for you. As like the director of teen services during COVID, when you guys were in the Walker building, was there any teen services there? Or because I'm sure it was much harder due to like the smaller space.
It was difficult due to the smaller space, but we still kind of were able to provide a lot of different programs and services. We did a virtual career series, which was super fun, and we had a bunch of different people in various careers dial into Zoom to talk about what they do and why they do it. We had some take and make crafts, so people could come and grab a bag with a pre-filled kit for a craft with the instructions all ready to go and ready to take home to do at your house. We were still offering book pickup, and a little further on in COVID, we had a lot of browsable space as well. We didn't have as much seating. I think that's one of the biggest benefits of this new building is we have a ton of places to hang out and sit. So we made it work during COVID for sure.
Thank you.
One more question I have for you is when you started working here before and after the renovations were made, how do you think how much change do you think this library had amounted to?
So the renovation allowed us to add almost 20,000 square feet to the building, which is a huge amount. I think it doubled our square footage, which really allowed us to create these dedicated spaces. So we have the children's room upstairs, and that's a huge dedicated space for people kind of 12 and under. We have this teen room, which is geared towards people kind of 11 to 18, some wiggle room in there. And then we have a gorgeous large adult space as well. And we've been able to kind of expand our book collection because of that increase in space, expand our study room areas. So we have a couple study rooms that people can rent to get work done during the day. And we have some conference rooms as well as a large community room where we can do a bunch of different activities. So we've really grown a lot with this renovation.
The Marlborough Public Library has a website where you can borrow books for up to 3 weeks, and then you can renew them again for another 3 weeks. So technically speaking, you can borrow them for up to 6 weeks, and then you must return them to the library. You can borrow up to 50 books at a time. Folks, that is a lot of books. So if you want to go visit the website, the QR code is going to be posted right here. So click that link on the QR code and visit the website where you can see all of the programs and you can borrow online books. Thank you for joining us today, Rachel.
Thank you so much for having me.
And thank you for watching another edition of Marlborough Junior Reporters. We'll see you next time with the Marlborough News.